Thanks to it. Much appreciated. So, first of all, thank you everybody for coming. Thank you for coming to the flagship drive of the QX80. So the first in Canada, and I can't think of a better place to have that drive. The sea to sky, and today in particular, the sun coming out, was just a wow moment, right? Like, in a little side note, I had to drive a QX60. So you guys got to enjoy the QX80, and I enjoyed the QX60, which is equally as impressive. So we started retailing the QX80 last month. So last month was the first month of wholesale, and the wholesale really started coming in the second half of the month, and we started retailing. What's important there is we set an August record for sales. So this brand new QX80 beat 20 years of sales in August alone. And it was the second best month ever for the QX80. So think about that, 20 years of selling this product, and we beat it with the brand new in the first month. So in terms of customer appreciation, customer demand, we can really see it from day one. Next slide, please. So we have 35 years of Infiniti history. So 35 years of innovating, of bringing in new technology that really is customer focused, is driver focused, is driver first. So some of them, intelligent cruise we brought out in 2001. Lane departure warning was 2004. A round view monitor was 2007. And the list goes on and on and on. And this QX80, when Neel comes up, he'll explain a lot more of the first that we see. And you got to experience some of them today. So, 20 years ago, 2004, we launched the first ever QX56. So 56, and then it transitioned into the QX80 in 2013, and we've enjoyed it ever since. With 2025, the all-new QX80 really embraces everything that is great about Nissan and Infiniti and brings it to the next level. It is a flagship vehicle for us. Part of that 35-year history and 20 years with the QX80 is knowing our customers and designing the product for those customers. And you might ask, who are those customers from a QX80 perspective? Really, it's that power couple, right? It's that power couple with a family, with kids, with an extended family when they do road trips. They're able to put in, they have hockey bags, golf bags, luggage. Everything goes into the vehicle, and they're also embracing technology. So they're living busy lifestyles, and the technology in the QX80 is there to embrace and to help them along that journey. And they also want to embrace the luxury that is the QX80 in all three rows. Next slide, please. So, just four things from a design perspective with the QX80, and I think we can all agree, the sophisticated design as you walk up to that vehicle, it's striking, it's breathtaking, it stands out, it's bigger, it's bolder than it was in the past. And then going into it, it's that first class hospitality in every row, right? It's embracing it. Hell, the inside of this vehicle is better than my house, right? I don't have clips audio in my house, I don't have massaging seats in my house, but you've got it in the QX80. And then the technology, we experienced it in the stop, right? It's that seamless technology that customers want, the customers need, and the vehicle provides it. And then the last one is the rewarding driving experience, right? This vehicle packages it all up for those families on the go, those families that are embracing technology. They want to be that sophisticated host, and this is the vehicle to do it. Now, the car is the star. Part of buying an Infiniti is also our Infiniti distinction. So it goes beyond the vehicle itself. It's about the experience that anybody that buys an Infiniti will enjoy. It goes from our My Infiniti app. So you're able to schedule your service appointment. You're able to start your vehicle from a remote. I use this when I landed in an airplane and it's cold, and you turn on your vehicle as you're walking towards it, and by the time you get in, it's heated up. It's an Infiniti valet. So these individuals are busy, living a busy lifestyle, and the vehicle can be picked up or dropped off at their work or at their home. It's the whole experience, the multi-sensory experience and the signature delivery. So really that wow moment, right? This is the second biggest purchase people make, and how do we embrace that and make it truly memorable for them? And then for the QX80 in particular, it's a QX80 personal assistant. It's that individual that can help them along their journey and answer any particular questions they want. And we all experience it. It's the technology that's in the vehicle, so it's embracing it with a second delivery and walking through and able to explain the vehicle. Again, you know, you're super excited, you're getting into the QX80, you take it home, you've got questions, you go back in and you experience the QX80. So, you know, the car is the star, but it's also all about the experience that the customer gets, and we're really proud of the Infiniti distinction. So, without further ado, back to the car being the star, I want to hand it over to Neel. Thank you.
A quick question.
Yes.
For the oil changes and tire rotation, how long is it? 4 years? 4 years?
4 years.
Thank you. Mark?
And it follows the car, not the owner.
The car?
It's transferable.
Exactly, it's transferable between all.
Hello. All right. Thank you, Ken, and good evening, everyone. Thanks a lot for joining us in this beautiful, beautiful lodge. It's my first time in Whistler, so I'm personally mind blown. So it's going to be a very interesting speech. For those of you I didn't get a chance to introduce myself, my name is Neel Surve. I recently joined the marketing team, but prior to this role, I was managing the entire portfolio for product planning for Infiniti, and I had the absolute privilege to work on the QX80 right from the time I was only living in an Excel sheet to now literally being alive. So, my pleasure to talk to you guys about some of the highlights, some of the design language, about the idea behind this car, and maybe also touch upon some of the key features. And I know you all have already driven the car, so it's going to be a little bit of a different sort of presentation. So I know we will have a lot of questions too in terms of what you experienced and technology. So maybe towards the end of my presentation, we'll give some time for Q&A. But that's not it. We obviously are going to be together for the whole evening, so we can have more one-on-one touch points as well. So let's get into it. So talking a little bit more about QX80. So one of the key things in addition to the one slide that Ken presented, for QX80, other than the thoughtful hospitality, the design, the technology, those were some of the main key pillars that we had in mind when we were designing this. And one of the baseline that we always had when it comes to design language for the QX80, it was always the Japanese artistry that we have. So really honing on our Japanese heritage, but at the same time taking inspiration from everything around us, whether it's nature, whether it's architecture that we see in daily life. Some proof points for all of these, which I would love to also show you guys later on the actual car. Starting in the front, it's such a big and imposing front grille, and what this grille is trying to basically show us is the grille slats represent the organic shapes of a bamboo forest. So anyone who's been to the bamboo forest in Kyoto, especially, with the way those bamboo forests sway, that's basically the swaying motion those grilles are trying to create. And then the light that peaks from the top of the grilles, that's kind of what the daytime running lights are trying to indicate to you. Additionally, the signature lights, even when you look from like a side angle, imagine looking at a piano keyboard. That's how the piano keys look. That's why it's called the piano key design. And then even on the rear, not just the way that the taillight look in terms of its beauty, it's the biggest light structure that we've ever made, more than 300 LEDs. But there's literally like a cut right in between where, imagine if it's a bridge and there is water under it, how light would reflect in terms of ripples on water. That's the emotion that the light is actually creating. So if you see the bottom part of the light, that's what it's representing. Two additional, more Japanese inspired design languages, such as the storage surface and even like, the charging pad that you have in the car. That is meant to represent a Japanese Zen garden. So, those beautiful patterns in sand that you usually find in these Zen gardens, they are all over the car and they're nicely illuminated too. Let's take a look at how the welcome of the car is. Talk about thoughtful hospitality. It's truly how the car will literally welcome you. It almost prepares itself to welcome you on board. So there are certain things, a sequence that it goes through. So a nod, towards the light, it'll do an animation on the daytime running light. The front logo illuminates. And it also will cast a light path, so the Infiniti light path as we call it, or in an unofficial language we can even call it like a light carpet, because you will literally walk on a carpet of light which extends from the front door all the way to the rear, and then the door handles sort of extend. It's almost like a welcome to you, bringing you in. Once you're in, first class hospitality was obviously one of the key pillars for us when we designed the interior of this car. Now, there is a nod to luxury jets and private jets, and the whole idea behind that, not just to sound cool and premium, but one thing that you don't have in private jets is you don't have classes. There is no economy, coach, business class, first. Every seat is a first class. That was the true idea behind designing the QX80, but it doesn't matter where you sit, every single seat has to be first class hospitality. On the next slide, some proof points to that. It's not just marketing speech, but certain features such as giving you standard heating and ventilation for first and the second row, giving you massage function for the first and the second row for the first time, and not forgetting the third row by any means. Even the third row gets both heated seats. The third row controls are even powered, they're not manual. The third row even has semi-aniline leather. So just the moment you get in the car, just the touch and feel of it is itself very, very premium, top of the line, and even getting in the third row itself is something that's been improved drastically to a point where now it's class leading. So even the space that you have when you fold the second row and get in is the easiest. The loading height is the lowest, so even getting in is pretty easy. And then once you're on the third row, the legroom, headroom, shoulder room versus the outgoing QX80 was one of the biggest areas where we've improved in terms of interior space. Going ahead, talking about space, overall the car has improved in terms of luggage capacity in every seat configuration. So whether it's first row and behind, second row and behind, or even the third row, where the biggest improvement, as you can see, is behind the third row. So when all three rows are up, it's 28% larger. And it's not just about the space that you now have, but it's about how you even access that. So imagine you're carrying heavy luggage. Once your trunk's open, you can now, because it's air suspension, even lower the rear of the car for easier load in, which really brings it to a class-leading lowest loaded height. We go up. Talk about interior and some of the cool features that we have, and in terms of technology, just to elevate that experience even further. Really proud to so we now have partnered with Klipsch, and for audiophiles in the room, you guys definitely have heard of Klipsch. Not so much as a car brand so far, but as a home audio brand for sure. They make super amazing, super premium speakers. We are actually going to be one of the first in the segment to feature in-car Klipsch audio system. There's only one other OEM who has it. But yeah, Klipsch is going to be standard in the entire lineup. So irrespective of which trim you will buy of a QX80, Klipsch system is going to be featured in it. And the Sensory and the Autograph, which are the top two trims, will feature the Reference Premier, which is a 24-speaker system. This is a system you have to listen to understand what I'm trying to say. I can show you slides and slides, but nothing beats an experience of getting in. And two cool things about it. Once you hear the sound or whatever your favorite track is, the first feeling you're going to be getting is, man, I wish all of my friends get a chance to hear it, or I have a chance to show off about how cool the system is. We kind of knew that. So what we've done is we've added something called as a demo mode. So every time you get in a car, whether it's your own car or even for our sales personnel, for them to show the full potential of what Klipsch can do, there is a demo video which shows you exactly what Klipsch sound system with all of the 24 speakers can do. Now this was again not like a high resolution track that we just downloaded and let you play. We actually went to California, hired a 40-piece orchestra, and they've recorded a custom track just for QX80. It really brings out Japanese sounds and visuals are again of Japanese seasons going through different colors and different seasons. It's a beautiful experience, you have to try it. Talk about screens and all the colors that we do have. So the technology, the way we have in this car, one of the key things was, yes, we had to offer you cutting edge technology, which is the best in the market right now, and even looking forward for a few years to come, but it has to be very seamless. It has to be integrated in a real nice way, not really jarring, not really in your face. Some of the things that we've done, in addition to the sound system, is using a whole lot of camera innovations. We tried two of them today. In addition to those, we are offering you the front wide view and the invisible hood view in particular. Those are going to be standard across every single trim. And in addition, the 3D around view that we saw. Another cool thing which I guess I got a chance to talk with only for a couple of you, this entire 28-inch display that you see, just to add a little bit more character and feel, we even have something called as a live background view. So as you're driving, say for example, you started driving from Toronto, you go to Nova Scotia or anywhere, it's a long drive, start in the morning, the whole background is going to be like a sunrise. As you're driving, the sun will literally go right in the center of the screen and eventually it will set. So based on the time of the day, that whole animation changes as well. So just some additional design touches to customize and elevate that experience of a guest. Moving to the next slide. Talk about how technology is perfectly in your life. So very quickly, just to map like a journey. So whether it's the camera views that are helping you, leave your parking spot, to accessing seat, customizations, whether it's movement or folding, even from the front instrument cluster, to your own specific personalization with basic example like ambient lighting, which has 64 color options now. To even things such as connected car. So your garage door opener automatically opening the moment you get towards your house because it knows you have arrived. Going forward. Also, this technology is going to be very adaptive. So whether it's situations such as the front wide view, which in a presentation like we showed, you can even geotag it so it exactly knows when to come on. To even certain features such as the interior camera. That some of you, I know when we were in the car, you guys noticed we have a camera facing the inside of the car. That can even allow you certain security features. So, for example, in a situation like this, the car is there, the car is locked. I'm not sure if I left my phone or my sunglasses or something in there. Remotely from my app, I can quickly take a look as to what's inside the car. I can take a picture, just the interiors, and it can immediately be seen on my phone. Additionally, talk about tech. What we've also done is, for the first time in an Infiniti, we will now be powering this car with Google Automotive Services. So Google Automotive Services comes in standard, and that inherently brings in a whole lot of advantages, as you know. So the basic operating system itself will be Google. So your native maps will now be Google Maps, which obviously are going to be a lot more updated, always up to date, and with all their updates, indeed, that makes it much more easier to search more points of interest. You can even share that, for example, literally like how you would use it on your phone. Additionally, on the next slide, the other thing that Google does is there has always been voice recognition and giving voice commands in all of our cars. Now it's just that much more easier because of natural speech. So natural speech is you don't have to give very specific commands like, hey, AC, go to this temperature, or this, or whatever. It's literally like talking to someone. Hey, I feel like eating Chinese today. Okay, so it's going to give you a list of that. I feel too cold. Okay, it's going to change the temperature. So it's a natural speech without having very, very specific commands. So it's a nice two-way conversation. And last but not least, equally important, is getting apps. So just like your phone, you will have car-specific apps as thanks to Google Automotive Services. And just like a Play Store, you will be able to download a whole bunch of car-related apps for sure. And just because it's Google Automotive, we've definitely not by any means ignored or forgotten our Apple users. So Apple CarPlay and Android Auto is going to be standard, and both will be wireless connected. So wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, every single trim will feature this. Staying with tech, additionally what we do have is, or rather another Infiniti first, is going to be ProPilot 2. You guys tried it today, so would love to hear your feedback, would love to have any questions as well on this after. But yeah, ProPilot 2 is going to be first time offered in a QX80, and what it gives you additional over and above the ProPilot 1 that we've had, or 1.1, sorry, that we've had so far, is a hands-free driving capability on mapped highway drives. Going to the next slide. Also, powering all of this has been an update to the powertrain. So we don't have our 5.6 liter V8 anymore, and that's been replaced by a 3.5 liter twin turbo V6. And this engine is basically from our famous VR family of engines. So there's a lot of components that have been derived from the GTR or even the Red Sport variants of our Q50 or our Q60. And this has been now rated at 450 horsepower, which is 50 horsepower more than the outgoing V8, and a whopping 103 foot-pounds of torque more versus the V8. This is getting paired with a 9-speed automatic transmission, just to give you an overall smooth drive. And that was one of my feedbacks when me and Badi were driving today. I had no idea when the transmission was shifting points, whether I was in sport mode, comfort mode. It's a super smooth and very, very efficient transmission for sure. Going to the next slide. All of this powertrain, what that leads us with is a towing capacity of 8,500 pounds, which is best in class. And again, this is something that is standard on the QX80. You don't have to upgrade to a top trim. You don't have to buy any additional towing packages. That's just how the car will come. And a few additional towing related features, which again are pretty cool and very, practical for someone who actually tows. One, there is a trailer blind spot warning. So the usual blind spot as you're getting out of lane, in and out, very much there. Once you connect the trailer, you can actually tell the car that you now have a trailer, and up to a 33-foot trailer could be accounted for in terms of blind spot warning. Additionally, talk about even connecting the tow, or when you're about to tow, get close to the hitch. The rear view camera can offer you a zoom option, so you're really zooming in on exactly where your hitch is. Much easier for you to connect to the hitch. And then overall, what we do have in terms of the experience for the drive is going to be standard air suspensions on all sides. This is again something for the first time that we're offering in an Infiniti, in a QX80. And not just about the air suspension, which obviously lets you dial the height of the car or even go through different drive modes. Additionally, we also have something called as a digital dynamic suspension. Simple words, what that does is there are a bunch of sensors around the car, including in the suspension, using the camera tech as well. This is going to be sensing the road up to 100 times per second and automatically change the damping force, whether it's supposed to go from sport to comfort. But you could choose that as well. You could tell the car that, hey, you should stay in sport, for example. So the option is definitely left with the user. But yeah, overall, this definitely reduces overall body roll and up and down motion in the car. Last but not least, all of this put together is definitely giving us, and you guys have experienced this today, it's not for me to just say, it's a large SUV. I mean, we're not getting anywhere overall. It is a proper full-size luxury SUV. But the drive feel is much more agile now with all of these improvements done. And overall, with this powertrain, this results in up to 10% better fuel economy for us combined in all aspects. So it's a really good package overall in terms of what we've come up with. Last parting thought before I pass it over to Badi, what I can tell you is, in terms of the design execution and in terms of the interior, one of the key focus that we did have on this car is obviously the exterior design is going to be beautiful. It is supposed to wow you. But as a customer, 2 months down, 6 months down, what you truly will remember and what you're going to experience the most is the touch feel, the interior, where you sit, what you're feeling, how your access is to every day, the ease of use. And that's the one thing I'm personally really proud about when you sit in a QX80. Nothing is jarring, nothing's in your face. Even if it's the giant screen, it's very nicely integrated in the dash. Particularly when we get a chance, please go in the car and see how well the marriage of materials happens, as they call it. Where the glass meets the leather, meets the wood, meets the overall surfaces. Everything is very neat, very ergonomic, very thoughtful. That'll be it from my end. If there are any questions, we can take them right now. Yes?
Sorry.